How to install a Starlight headliner kit as a beginner. I know that there's some other videos on YouTube that walk you through it, and there's some professionals who do it as well, and they don't really break down the tedious process behind it because they have done it tens of hundreds and maybe even thousands of times. So the tips they're giving you kind of jump over things that you as a beginner need to know. And one of the biggest things I see is placement of power and the detail and how to go about the whole organization of the process. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on the video. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you guys leave a like if you like the video, and definitely please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the Starlight kit. I'm going to show you what mine came with. It's very basic. I got a 450 piece Starlight kit with no shooting stars or meteors, just the basics. And I wasn't really like looking for fancy craziness either. To kick it off, what you're going to get in the kit, your obvious light engine module and your remote to control the lights. And some of these will come with an app that you can download to control it, which is pretty cool. Mine does, so I will be doing that most of the time. And then for your power sources, you're going to usually just get a cigarette lighter plug as well as a home plug. I know that some you can hotwire into like a fuse that's always on and all that fancy stuff. I'm not doing that right now. I'm just going to go ahead and do it with a cigarette lighter because where I'm placing this light engine is very close to one, so it makes it really easy for me. Here's the 400 on, ready to go. That's the basic setup for the kit. Very, very simple. When you get it, it's going to be wrapped up like a snake and covered so it doesn't break while you're transporting it. But on to the big basics. You have your headliner shell out of your car. If you do not and you're looking for that video, I did not make one because every car is slightly different. So depending on the car that you have, go ahead and search that up. You're probably going to find a really good video on how to do it. It is fairly simple. Most cars are about the same, but there's a little bit of trickiness, especially around like the consoles area. But like the pillars and the handlebars are, the same. So go ahead. If you're looking for that, this is not that video, come back to me once you have it out. And also, if you are looking for a headliner replacement, like changing the fabric of the headliner, I went ahead and made a video on mine because I did change it to a suede. Go ahead and check that out. It should be like right here. Click on that, watch it, come back, and then we'll get to this fun, tedious part. The first steps of when you got the bad boy set out, you want to get it into a spot. In my opinion, you're going to need a couple days. So I am in my house and I have it laid out on a chair to my island so I can get under it. When you go to buy your Starlight headliner kit, you want to make sure you have it measured out so it can fit the whole area of your headliner case. Furthest point, because when you put it in, you're going to choose a C-pillar, whether it's driver C-pillar or passenger C-pillar in the back. I mean, you could do it in the front. I haven't seen anyone do that, but what I did is found that about 9.5 feet of fiber optic is plenty for my Volkswagen GTI, and that's what I went ahead with. Some cars are much shorter, so you might only need 6 feet or even 4 feet in a single cab truck. Figure that out before you go ahead and buy it. Once you have it all staged out and you're about ready to do the holes and get going on the install, what you want to do is make sure you have planned where you're going to put the light engine, how you're going to hook it up, and how you're going to organize the stars. That is incredibly important. You do not want to skip this process. If you do, you're going to give yourself a major headache. You might mess it up so bad that you ruin it. That's a very small case, but it could happen. So just go ahead and plan. Where I'm putting my lights is in the passenger C-pillar. So right here, I have it taken out. It's going to come down here. It's going to follow this line all the way over here, down through here, behind that plastic. It's going to come follow through here into the side panel on the rear passenger, And behind this panel is plenty of room for my light engine, so that's where it's going to sit. In worst case, if it doesn't fit, I'm going to run it down here under my box. My car obviously looks a lot different than your guys's if you have back seats and whatnot. You could do the same thing just under your back seats. Make sure it can breathe a little bit because you do not want it to catch on fire. What I'm going to have happen is the cigarette lighter plug is going to come out of where your back seats latch and plug right into the cigarette. Boom, right there, easy peasy. You guys could follow suit, obviously coming down the C-pillar through the wall under the seat. I don't have any seats obviously, so I'm doing it a bit different, but I wanted to just give you an idea. So you're not just asking yourself, where the heck am I going to put this after you already put it into the headliner? Because you might run out of space and not be able to, so your stuff's just going to hang out and not be hidden. So now that you have figured out where you're going to put your power and your light engine in the car, you can go ahead and start measuring out the optic placements and designing what you want to do. Here comes the fun part of poking holes and placing the fiber. You don't want to be poking more holes in your headliner than necessary. So what I went ahead and did, I know this looks very confusing, is I took a piece of paper, pen and a Sharpie, and said, okay, I'm going to split it up into passenger and driver. Straight down the middle, passenger, driver. So I went, all right, I'm going to put 150 pieces on driver and then move over to passenger, do 150 pieces. Obviously, if you don't do it in one sitting, you write down and keep track of how many holes you're putting while you take a break. So you can come back to it and go, okay, I left off on 68 holes, continue. And then when you're at 150, come to the next side. The reason why I stopped there is so I could take a look and look at the positioning of every holes and seeing how gapped they are, and if I like what's going on with it, if I wanted things to be closer, if I want them to be positioned in different sections. I actually added star constellations like your zodiac signs for your birthdays. So I did all of my birthday months for my family because that's what I wanted to do. So I have the birthday zodiac signs, or star constellations they call it, I guess. You guys could obviously do whatever you want. You could do your name, you could do galaxies, you can... I realized that I had 150 left over, so then we did 50-50 once again on both sides. And then I saw how well it was turning out, so I went ahead and finished it off halfway through with another 25-25. This is how I ended up. We'll see how it turns out. After you organized and placed 450 dots, or however many that is, for whatever kit you got, there's a few different ways you could poke the holes into your headliner and make it work for you. What I went ahead and did was based on the size of my fiber optic. I used wire nails. I know it sounds really weird. You haven't heard that before, huh? Very small, very pointy nail. The instructions do say to use a drill. The reason why I didn't use a drill is because I wanted full control of puncturing and like the fabric. And what happens when you start to poke the holes through and you're not cautious, you could actually take the fabric and start to tear it down. It starts to lose that adhesive on the actual case. And you don't want that to happen because then that will age it a lot faster and allow it to sag a lot quicker. So what I did was use my hands very precisely, poked with very good care on both sides so the fabric did not move at all. And this took me probably 6 hours to do. It is the least efficient way to do it, so you guys don't have to do it. I did. If you don't have wire nails, you can get an upholstery pen at any craft store, any sewing store, anything like that. It's a bit bigger, it won't hurt your fingers that much. If you're brave enough to use a drill and drill bit, go ahead and do that. That's your own discretion. If you think it's working for you, perfect. It's going to take you probably not even 30 minutes. And then once you got the holes done, you're obviously going to need an adhesive to hold the fiber optic to the shell itself. I'll show you when I start to do that. What I went ahead and did was get both of the recommendeds. Some people use a hot glue gun, and some people use a clear adhesive foam to just everything bond. With a hot glue gun, the things you're gonna run into is gonna get pretty dang hot, and the glue itself is obviously coming out hot. So you actually run the risk of melting your fiber optic, and you do not want that to have happen because it'll make it not work, and you would have to go over it again, scrape off the glue and all that jazz. And also when you're gluing, it leaves strings everywhere. It's like stringy. It's like, I don't like that. I like keeping it clean. But if you want to only use a hot glue gun, or you only can, you can definitely do it. You're just going to have to be more cautious to not melt your fiber optic. That's what I have to say. Just be very cautious with the fiber optic and that hot tip and the hot glue itself. So I'm going to go ahead and start placing my fiber optic and show you how I kind of organize that. So once you're done with poking all the holes for your stuff, you'll know how to lay it out nicely.
Later.
Alright, so I just finished up putting all the strings in. It is taking such a long time to do it by myself. So if you guys are doing it by yourself, be prepared to spend several hours on this. As you can see, it's already dark out. I'm going ahead and as you can see, I've already started gluing, and crazy enough, I've actually decided to just use hot glue. It is so much faster, and I found if you put a small layer, it doesn't stay hot long at all, so you're not really running the risk of hurting it. If you put a lot of glue on there, you definitely run the risk of burning it because a lot of glue stays a lot hotter longer. And my tip for you is, luckily this one is a low temp hot gun. You can get high temp hot guns. If you have that, do not use that because that'll definitely burn through it. My one thing for you is when you're doing it, you want to give it a nice little pull and then just wipe the bottom of it. Boom. It keeps it as low as we can without pinching the fiber optic because you need a rounded corner. You don't want a 90 degree. You want like a nice quick slope into it. Alright, so it is the next day. It got late last night, finishing up gluing. It's all good to go. I let it just sit overnight to kind of, let the glue settle. But it's all good. I mean, check it out. I got it pretty low. Could have been lower in some spots. But all in all, it's low. When I put it in, it'll kind of flatten itself out. I'm going to go ahead and prep the car for install. And then what you want to do is take a pair of your snips. And cut off the wire, but leave like, I would say 6 to 8 inches just in case it pulls out when you're putting it in, so you can glue it back on real quick. You're not screwed because you cut it too soon and it just pulls out and you don't have enough to put it back in, because that would suck. And then cut the rest once it's completely installed and you know it works and everything is fine. I went ahead, got it installed. We'll just tell you right now, have a partner, have a little bit of patience, or probably a lot of patience, honestly, and take your time, because things could definitely break. I broke a couple things. Luckily, they weren't that important. It's just an oopsies, but some of them you cannot break or you're gonna have a severe headache. But I got it in. I haven't even chopped them yet. That's why I'm here. Got it in. It looks freaking crazy. There's a few panels I haven't put in, like the top right here, and then the C pillar or D pillar, whatever you want to call it. Refer to your car, your headliner removal, and hopefully install, because I couldn't find any install that gave you great detail. Because this C pillar, to put this panel back, you got to take this panel off, and they don't tell you that. Things break. Like, here's one of the oopsies. Like, I don't know, no idea. And I'll tell you what, I cut these way too long, or kept them way too long, and they just got in my eyes the whole time and poked the schnites out of me. So I'd recommend cutting them like maybe 6 inches, not, I think these are like 10 inches. Ugh, they are all up in my business. It is the following day. I went ahead and installed it super late again, doing a lot of this at night, and I think it looks really good. Can't really see it during the day. My lens is very foggy right now because here in Florida it is incredibly humid and above average hot. So the lens is cold and outside is very warm, so it creates this fog, which is slowly going away, but it looks amazing. You guys need to do it. If you're thinking about doing it, do it. Trust me, it's worth it. Just have a partner, because it'll make the process so much faster. But in the end, it is so worth it. It looks so great. And I did everything you see under 200 bucks. Replacing the headliner to putting in the actual lights, all of it. And it was an experience. It was a fun experience. It was a difficult experience, but I enjoyed it. So if you guys like the video, please do leave a like. Make sure you're subscribed, because my next video, I'm going to go ahead and install a brand new coilover system in this car. Performance adjustable, the whole 9 yards. It's going to be sweet. I'm taking this car to a different direction, and if you guys want to follow along, make sure you're subscribed. Anyways, I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.